This is one of Cluny the Scourge's Rome Total War matches. This time it's a 2 versus 2 format, a form of battle I'm particularly fond of because I like the way that having to cooperate with an ally adds a whole additional element to the game. I, Cluny the Scourge, am playing as the Egyptians, and I've taken 4 units of Egyptian chariots, 6 Nile spearmen, and 4 Pharaoh's bowmen deployed in skirmish line in front of them. My ally, Armenia, is played by Decimator. He's taken 6 units of archers, 5 of heavy spearmen, 3 cataphract archers, and 3 horse archers. We've deployed so as to link our phalanx lines together to present a stable, united defensive front. Archers ahead, cavalry on the flanks. Our opponents are Rome, played by Last Legion of Rome, and he's taken 8 urban cohorts, 4 units of Roman archers, and 2 Praetorian cavalry. And his ally, Thrace, is commanded by Titus Pullo, also known as Alex Rex. He's taken 4 units of archers, 5 units of phalanx pikemen, 4 militia hoplite units in reserve behind them, and his cavalry behind are composed of 4 militia cavalry, that's javelin armed light cavalry. Now our side clearly has superior cavalry, stronger cavalry. Our infantry, however, is considerably inferior to theirs. Urban cohorts are the best sword-armed infantry in the game, and phalanx pikemen are pretty capable, and they're up against only Nile spearmen, who are Egypt's medium spearmen unit. We do, however, have the advantage in bowmen, since Pharaoh's bowmen are the second best archers in the game, and we also have numerical superiority in archery. And this seems to have prompted our opponents, Thrace, to make a precipitate cavalry strike against those archers to try to knock them out. They simply skirmish behind the spearmen, and the Thracian militia cavalry are punished for it, though not very heavily. They're pretty quick moving, and they manage to pull out before too much damage is done. Now we decide to get the battle kicked off by moving our armies within range of Pharaoh's bowmen archery. Since they have long-range missiles, they'll be able to begin the archery duel and force the enemy to come toward us. Since we're certainly going to win that archery engagement, in fact the enemy are going to be forced to attack us and fight the battle on our terms, at least as best we can manage. Now the Romans have sent their archers too far out in front of their infantry line, and that means that they're vulnerable to a cavalry strike, unless that's what the Romans actually intended, to make their archers vulnerable to lure our cavalry forward. But as things play out, I don't think that was actually part of the plan. Here you see Thrace makes another cavalry strike against our archers, but this time with only a single unit, and since my Pharaoh's bowmen are the second best archers in the game and pretty tough, and since they were firing at them before they even came within 100 yards of us, and also since it was only a single unit and overwhelmed by the concerned by number of enemy feature, that was beaten off pretty quickly. So I'm making a cavalry strike with my chariots at full charge against his Praetorians. I achieve an envelopment there, as you can see, and that puts an end to it pretty quickly. His outnumbered Praetorian cavalry is disabled almost at once. Over on the Thracian-Armenian side of the battle, things are a little more mixed. The Armenians were trying to harass Thracian cavalry using their horse archers on skirmish mode, but they've unwisely set them to Cantabrian circle. Now, if you set your horse archers to Cantabrian circle, they won't be able to skirmish out of reach as quickly, and they will be caught by fast-moving cavalry, as you see there, and consequently the Armenians have lost half of their horse archers. Cantabrian circle should only be used when your horse archers are under fire from enemy missiles. Now, since we've won the archery duel, as you can see, just as I predicted previously, the enemy have got to send their infantry in. Unfortunately for them, they've split their forces. Only Thrace is going in. The Romans are tardy in catching up, and consequently they're giving us an opportunity to do some damage to those Thracian infantry by combining our forces together. So here you see I'm deploying my Nile spearmen on their flank. I'm going to do as much damage as I can before the Romans arrive. What this does mean, however, is that I've exposed my flank to the Roman infantry, and when they do rush in, they're going to cause some serious confusion. What use is a phalanx when you're up against infantry that have already enveloped your unit? However, what has happened there is that the Romans have formed a vast pocket of concentrated infantry, and that's a very ripe target for a chariot charge, which is what I've done with my chariots there. And I've routed one unit so far, but Urbans are pretty tough and they will take repeated charges and withdrawals. Now here, as I said, the Thracians have the superior infantry, and those Armenian heavy spearmen are paying the price for that. The Thracians are going to defeat the Armenians in the phalanx battle there, and that means they'll be able to bring their forces to support their Roman allies over on our left. The Armenians try to support my infantry with charges from their cataphract archers into the rear of the Romans, but they're sufficiently thick there to be able to resist those charges. I'm doing the same with my chariots over and over and taking more casualties each time. The chariots will soon cease to be an effective force. Should I, in retrospect, not have sent my infantry against the flank of the Thracians? Should I have continued to present a coherent battle line against the Romans? It is, after all, a phalanx line, and they would have had some difficulty breaching it, which would at least have bought us some time. Instead, as you can see, the Egyptian infantry is now completely annihilated in what I like to call a death sandwich. Things look pretty bleak for our side at this point. We still have all our archers, or most of them, 3 units of horse archers, 1 cataphract, 1 conventional, and my Pharaoh's bowmen, who are now going to do sterling service by demonstrating just how tough an archer unit they are by making a very useful charge to hold and fix the enemy infantry in place. And they're going to rout most of the Thracian forward infantry there, as you can see. I'm also bringing in regrouped spearmen into the flank, and now the battle is really reaching its crisis point. It will be decided here in this meat grinder. Now, however much damage they did to those militia hoplites, Pharaoh's bowmen are still just archers, and in a head-to-head fight they aren't going to achieve much if the Romans can keep the hand-to-hand fight going for as long as they wish, to fight on their terms. One way that we could have capitalized upon the situation better would have been for the Armenian horse archers there to have made direct charges into the melee. They're just conventional horse archers, not very tough at all in hand-to-hand, unlike, say, Persian cavalry or cataphract archers. But at a moment like this, we need everything we have. And here, the Armenian regrouped heavy spearmen that the Thracians were unable to finish off because of their need to rush to the assistance of the Romans to finish off the Egyptian infantry, have arrived, and now, combined with the Armenian cataphracts returning, a rout is spreading, cascade effect begins, the Roman general is isolated, and from the brink of total defeat, my Armenian ally and I have managed to rout 2 pretty powerful armies. Never go in against an Egyptian when death is on the line.